Hey guys, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and have I got another benching review for you. Today we are reviewing a bench from a company that isn't mostly associated with weight benches. That company is Ironmaster. They're most known for adjustable dumbbells. We've reviewed the Ironmaster adjustable dumbbells to high applause, multiple occasions, but there is a piece of equipment that they have that I've wanted to review for quite a while, and it is right here, the Ironmaster Super Bench Pro. It is both super and pro. In some regards, they say it's somewhat light commercial. I will get into that. You guys know what I think about products that aren't commercial, that are called commercial. But today I want to review a bench that I have very much so mixed feelings on. A bench that I think is an absolutely amazing design, but on the other hand, I'll talk about that in a moment. But before we go any further, it is fully adjustable. As you see it standing up here, it's not meant to be stood up. You know, it's not like Reps bench or the adjustable bench 3.0 from Rogue where it's got like a foot on it where it stands perfectly perpendicular to the floor, but it can stand with a little bit of rocking. But the position it's supposed to be in is this right here. And what you can first see is how close to the floor it is. So the top here, and one of the reasons that they went from the Super Bench to the 2.0, which is the Super Bench Pro, is because they wanted to shrink the height from the top of the bench to the bottom of the floor when you're benching flat. Now, if you know anything about powerlifting, the standard for the IPF, the International Powerlifting Federation, is 17 inches from the ground to the top of the bench. That's what's standard, and the reason that's there is because it allows people to tuck their legs underneath. It's a good height, and it's really the ideal. It's what pretty much every bench is striving for. Adjustable benches, it can be hard to do so, and the reason is because of the mechanisms that are underneath. This one, however, basically they decided to rework the design so it's able to be 17.2 inches from the floor when it's flat. One of the big benefits to this is the fact that you don't have any sort of seat pad attached to it permanently. As you can see, when it's just laying like this, it is very much so a typical flat bench. But wait, there's more. The real benefit to this is that you can adjust the adjustment up and down and then throw in a seat pad onto the side, and you now have an adjustable bench that goes all the way from 0 degrees in 11 different increments, all the way up to 85 degrees for those that want to do military press. Boom. And the way that it's done, you can see, no hands, Ma, no hands. The way that it's done is through a foot lever at the bottom. And this is a piece that I absolutely love. So most benches, whether it's ladder style, where you just pull it, or you have to pick it up and place it back down, or it's pop pin style, where you have to come in, pull the pop pin. This one is neither of those. This one, you simply step on a foot lever on the back side, lift it up to the increment you'd like, and then lock in. And it's pretty darn solid. Now the other design element, and what really is smart about this, is the entire adjustment mechanism is built into this like U-shaped piece of metal right here. This is where all the stability comes from. This is where they lock into, and allows you to have multiple adjustment increments all within this bar right here, which is really smart because then it sits all on this tower right here. So the only thing connecting this base part to this back part is this column right here. And so there's very little in the way of anything else, which allows it to be used in a little bit more versatile fashion than maybe what you can see with most benches. So if you like doing like 45-degree rows with dumbbells, you can sit on here and you have really nothing in the way, whereas if you went with the ladder bench, you're gonna have stuff in the way. So overall, this design, I want to make it clear, I am a big fan of it. It includes wheels, standard so you can move it around. It's got an embroidered top on the top. The other thing that's beneficial to it is the fact that it's got multiple attachments that add to it. So Ironmaster is making stuff for home gyms. The initial design was the Super Bench. The Pro basically made it a little bit more user-friendly and brought it closer to the floor, but it can also attach like 7 different attachments to both the side of the system and also the top of the system. So there's a lot of unique attachments they make, from a pull-up system that fits in here to a cable tower. I think they got a dumbbell spotter stand and some other things too. But I think the ones that most people are gonna look at are the dip station, which is this right here. That connects into the top, and then you adjust the bench for the height that you want. So say it's all the way up here, and then you can use it as a dip station. And it's a pretty solid dip station because it's using the flat base is there for stability the entire time. Another one is if you want to use it for decline sit-ups, you have this option right here, which allows you to place it in, use it for both decline sit-ups as well as decline bench, which is a cool option. So there's lots of attachments that come in this, including like some that we see with cheaper benches, and I'd love to see with more expensive benches, like a leg extension leg curl. I think for a home gym, just maximizing the amount of things that you can put in one space is very smart. And so overall, as I said previously, I absolutely love the design of the Ironmaster Super Bench Pro. Now, I want to make this clear. There isn't everything I love about this. In fact, I'm so heavy on the design side that it really like brings everything else up, but it also makes me more sad that I feel like they've neglected in other areas. For example, this is the Super Bench Pro. It currently costs around 460 bucks with free shipping. Not a crazy cheap bench, not a crazy expensive bench either. It's kind of in the middle. So if we look at like Reps offerings, the AB 5200, it's a little bit higher than that at 500 bucks. If you look at the AB 5000 at 600 bucks, you look at Rogue's Adjustable Bench 3.0 at 595, not including free shipping. So there's like all these products that are basically somewhat in the range depending on shipping and what options you get. This one is a little bit below that, but the quality on this is not the same as those others. So it's using 11 gauge and 12 gauge steel throughout the bench, but the overall fit and finish feels very much lower quality than those other ones, which I think brings down the positives of the design aspect. Now, I can understand them making a more budget-friendly version. Ironmaster is typically going after that budget-friendly consumer, which I think is great. However, I would love to see the Super Bench Pro, which is the Pro version, the big version. I would like to see this one improve in many areas for the quality. So I would, one, like to see better welds. The welds are just okay. They're not too awful, but they're just In addition, thicker steel throughout, so it's a little bit heavier bench. It's a pretty light bench, which is nice for moving around, but it does like lower the stability. In addition, there's no numbering here on the adjustment system, so there's nothing to tell you at what increment you're at in degrees wise. So we see that with a little bit higher end benches where all throughout they're numbering them. Would love to see that added on so you know exactly where you're at, and so you know if I'm using it at this degree on this day, then the next day I can use, or the next week I can be at the same one. This lever system is very smart. I love the way the foot lever is there. I think it's very smart. There's not a whole lot I really want to change with that. It would be nice if there's some extra texture on there for your foot to ride against, but not a big deal. I do say though, the front, they're having to make some compromises. And one of those compromises is they're having these feet stick out so you can't tuck your feet underneath like you would on, say, like an FB 5000 or like a Monster 2.0 bench. Some of the powerlifting style benches. These get in the way. However, they may have to be here because this bench is being used for multiple things, so I understand that. But in addition to that, like the casters could be a little bit higher quality. Then we got the vinyl. This is like a very cheap, slippery vinyl. The bench is really thin, which some people I like a little bit thicker than what's on here. And then the foam is just like, it's like rock hard. In fact, it just feels like a really thin piece of foam. Overall, the fit and finish of just the entire bench leaves quite a bit to be desired, in my opinion. And that's really only because the design is so good. So, do I like this bench? Do I recommend it? Definitely, because it's priced at a good price point. What I would like to see is this take over the Super Bench and then make a new Super Bench Pro that is higher quality. I would be absolutely in love with it. The design is very smart. There's lots you can do with it. It's priced somewhat decently. I just think there's some more that could be done here with the quality to basically hit both consumers, those on the budget side and those that still want the amazing design with a higher quality. Okay. This is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. What do you think of the bench? Have you used it? I know it's very popular. I'm a fan. I've been using it in my training quite a bit. Very simple to adjust, works well. We'll see you next time. Peace.